This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
can
recording.
getting
Yeah.
recorded. Okay, yeah. So what I was telling you was like in the introduction, I had talked about a classic use case. No, this is not
Mhm.
the one. Sorry, just a moment. Or it was in the course overview section. Yeah. So when you talk about integration, how the world used to look earlier, and then when integration tools came into picture. Okay, so
Okay.
let's say there are applications like salesforce.com we were talking about, then Workday, and then we have
Right.
a Java based application, we have a Oracle database. Because see, database is something where you will have all the set of records and everything. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
what used to happen was that a Java developer, when he has to talk to database, okay, I am an organization and I have few Java developers, and they have to talk, and I'm actually we have some integration with the database. We have to fetch some information, so that Java person should also know expertise with regard to talking to database. At the same
Yeah.
time, that Java person should also know expertise to talk to SAP, and that Java
Yeah.
person should also have expertise to talk to Oracle applications, right?
Correct.
In case
Correct.
he has to do that integration. Okay, otherwise, then if that Java person doesn't knows Oracle application, then I will have Java hiring also, I'll have Oracle application hiring also, I have SAP hiring also. Java person says, okay, I can do database integration, but I cannot talk to SAP, I cannot talk to Oracle application. There are huge applications, I don't know how to deal with them. Okay.
Right.
Likewise, if .NET, so this was a kind of web that was being created. These were point-to-point interactions before any
Right.
integration technology came into picture. Okay. Now,
Okay. Okay.
after integration technology came into picture, okay, let's say that Java person has to talk to SAP Salesforce.NET, then a box of middleware came in between. Okay,
Right.
now that middleware, if you call Oracle Sova Suite also, you call Dell Boomi also, you call MuleSoft also, there are a lot of integration platforms available. Like even if you talk
Oh,
about CRM solutions, we have Salesforce.com also, we have Sugar CRM, we have Siebel CRM. There are a lot of CRM solutions available, right? And in
okay. So
database,
that.
also,
Okay.
like you have an
That.
Oracle
Oh,
database
okay.
also, then MySQL server, or there are a lot of database options available, right? Microsoft Azure, these kind of cloud-based databases are also there. So basically, middleware as such, okay.
Oh, so, WebLogic, like WebLogic.
Yeah, WebLogic that is, so Oracle SOA Suite is part of. So so middleware is basically something that helps different applications talk to each other, so that they
Right.
have a common platform to talk, right? And
Right.
then there are a lot of vendors available for it. One being your Oracle WebLogic that you're talking about, Oracle SOA Suite. One is MuleSoft, one is Dell Boomi. But overall, when we talk why integration is needed, it is like removing point-to-point interactions with a middleman in between. I can give you a very layman example, Krishna. Just
Mhm.
think of a room, okay, wherein there are 5, 6 people sitting, okay,
Okay.
and one person knows these Chinese like Cantonese, other person knows German, third person knows French, fourth person knows Hindi, and sixth person knows, let's say, Kannada. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
and seventh person knows Malayalam. Okay, these are five
Right.
people. Okay, now when Malayalam person knows only Malayalam and he has to talk to Chinese person, so he will have to have a translator which converts
Mm.
Malayalam into Chinese. Okay, and then
Right.
another translator when Chinese also replies back, which converts Chinese into Malayalam. Okay,
Correct.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Likewise, in that same room, when Hindi wala knows only Hindi and Malayalam one knows only Malayalam. So now Malayalam one needs a translator for Hindi also, and Hindi to Malayalam translator. So like let's say if there are 5 people knowing 5 languages, 10 translator people are to be hired. Okay.
Right. Right. Right.
Now let's say we say, okay, let's do one thing, let's have a global language, let's have a global language, English. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
even if the Chinese person is sitting in the room, or German person is sitting in the room, or that Malayalam guy is sitting in the room, or person who knows Hindi is sitting in the room, if they all know English, the cost of those 10 interceptors or those 10 translators goes away directly, right?
Correct. Correct.
The
Yeah.
kind of role any particular integration platform plays, any integration platform you talk about, they have different connectors written for different technologies. So any good integration platform, what it will have is that it will have connectors written for SAP, it will have connectors written for Salesforce, it will have connectors for .NET, for Java. So since it will have connectors, so those connectors will help that doing the talking kind of thing or that interception kind of thing. Okay.
Got it.
And actually
Yeah.
I was not majorly going into like, I mean, this kind of a basic introduction was required, why integration is required. But see, the chapters we are going to do in MuleSoft, this is total, there are 13 modules. Okay. And
Okay.
this is not me preparing the modules. There are these 13 modules are available on training.mulesoft.com. Okay. Anyways, I would recommend you to go there, and I'll after this call I can even email you the details that where exactly you can go. And
Sure.
so these modules basically, and at the end of this session, my friend, even if, I mean, you're planning to learn MuleSoft and everything, right? So if
Right.
you're planning
Right.
to learn MuleSoft, so you have to do the certification. So this
Okay.
data sheet which I got from MuleSoft website only, so this
Oh,
is the exam that you are required to prepare. Okay.
okay. Okay.
And generally when I am starting my classes, I do it because I do teach people, other people also, right? So
Right. Right.
I generally start with module 3 rather than module 1 and module 2, because
Okay.
module 3 gives you a little bit of hands-on thing also, and module 1 and module 2 is more of a theoretical kind of thing, like a bit of things which I am already telling you, like why integration is required, and then a bit of why APIs are required and how it can help you. So after we do 3 or probably 4 also, or after 3 we can go back to 1 and 2. But another thing, see, module 3 takes somewhere between, any module will take somewhere between, because today if you see we will today it is a bit of introduction also, but today if you see, you just see in today's 2 hours how much we complete. Okay. That will give
Right.
you a fake idea that any module will take somewhere around 5 to 6 hours at least. Okay. So,
Right.
I mean, and it's also depending upon your pace also, my friend. Let's say we do a module, okay, 3, and all the documentation is available on training.com. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's say we completed 3/4 of it and 1/4 is left. So if you meet me in the next meeting and you have already completed that 1/4, fair enough, we can switch to the next one also, right? But if
Right.
not, then we'll have to spend that 1/4 wala time also. So if you ask me how much time will be required, just calculate that approximately if it 5 to 6 hours. Even if we take a lower this thing of 5 hours, then also it will be approximately 65 hours to complete these modules. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So and if you like, I mean, I don't have any problem that if you do one of the modules and come back to me with questions and we can skip learning that module, that's also fine. That's up to you. Okay. And the other thing is that yeah, this is the end goal of this training, that after towards the end of this training you appear for the exam and clear the exam is I'll be more than happy if you do
Right.
that,
Right. Right. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
only because there is a value for this examination also. Like even if I go to my training.mulesoft account and go to my certification, so there's a link created for your certification. Like you cannot
No.
just say that I did the certification, you have to have that link with you. And
Mm.
anywhere, like even when I was talking to Gaurav and he was asking me that will you be interested in training people and all, so the first thing he asked me about my certification only, right? So certification,
Right.
plays a very important role in whatever you are doing,
Right.
right?
Right.
And on this certification, it costs $250. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm.
a lot of vouchers available online. So, like my husband also gave the certification last year in 2019, and he somehow from some WhatsApp group, I don't know how it come, he managed with a jugaad, but he managed to get
Okay.
that voucher. So, but that
You
voucher
mean the
was
term?
no, that voucher was I mean expired after 2019. Okay,
Okay.
but
Okay.
there are a lot of mules of meetups and everything, and there if you register, is what I have heard that you get. They do send, like, there's a meetup. Okay, the online meetups there are also there. So generally, what happens is when you register, so
Mhm.
then you can ask them for the, I mean, it's just a Google thing. Honestly, I haven't done it myself because for me, my organization was reimbursing my MuleSoft certification. So I
Right,
was
right.
good with that. So that's the reason I was, I mean, I didn't try for vouchers, but
Right.
vouchers are available. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay.
Okay.
If,
So what you're saying here is MuleSoft is a translator in the room. So this guy knows English.
Yeah, but it's a little ahead of it. Okay, when I
Okay.
say that,
Okay.
uh, see, one is translator, but after translator, I, I have few more qualities to it.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
the kind
Right.
of qualities I'll tell you. See, nowadays, if you have been into like related to IT industry also, you know that APIs are a big thing today. Okay,
Right. Right.
like, let's say I'm Facebook, okay, and I have I mean and I cannot work in isolation. No one can work in isolation. If Google
Right.
Maps would have thought that it wants to work in isolation, Google Maps would haven't been this big the way it is right now, right?
Right.
So
Right.
so every big organization at as of today, they give you APIs so that other organizations can connect with it, like say Uber. Okay, so Uber wants, like, Uber cannot exist without Google Maps. I mean, they, that's what I think, right?
Right.
So if
Right.
Uber has to connect to Google Maps, okay, it is not that Uber will go to Google. Okay, they will have their contract or so, that is fine, but now Uber doesn't have to bring people from Google Maps that, hey, you should send your people and they will help us to how to connect with Google Maps. No, that is not the case, because Google Maps have given an API which is available to everyone. It's a public API, right?
Correct. Correct.
So Google Maps will have given an API that, okay, if you have to find location, you use this operation. If you have to kind of find the traffic information, use this option. So kind of, I mean, what we see from UI when we are using Google Maps, or there are other such options available. Um, so that time we will see a different UI altogether. Okay,
Correct.
but behind the scenes, how when I click on Uber, that this is my source and this is my destination, how Uber is eventually connecting to this thing, Google Maps, or how Uber is eventually connecting to American Express, that we don't know. That is all abstracted and it is just happening behind the scenes for us. But you know that behind the scenes that integration is happening as of date, right? Anyone knows, right? So,
Right.
like when Uber is connecting with PayPal or American Express or whatever it is, or in India it is Paytm mostly, right?
Right.
So
Right.
these integrations are happening in all these big organizations. They have exposed their APIs, okay,
Right.
and
Right. Right.
these are application programming interfaces which tells for any organization or for any application that what that particular application, what are the operations that it offers, okay, and how to call those operations. That kind of information an API document has, right? So MuleSoft is that integration tool which basically helps you create those APIs, okay, and how it is helpful for an organization in today's growth. I can give you a quick overview because I was thinking to go on the third one first rather than first and second, which will talk more about these things. Okay.
Sure.
It's like it helps you building APIs, reusable APIs, and then you can expose those APIs. And I'll talk about API. Okay. So, my friend, what is your definition of an API? We have been talking about this word API, right? What is your definition of API? In case you know.
API like some some program which connects two interfaces, which communicates two interfaces.
Okay. So I'll try to give you again a layman example. Okay.
Which acts as a
Let's
trigger, basically.
uh-huh.
Which acts as a
See,
trigger.
yeah, it acts as a trigger. I would say, see, you are giving a like good example. That's not a problem, but it needs some partial correction. I'll help you create that. Okay. Now, any application programming interface, let's say I am going to a construction site, okay, and I'm
Right.
going to a builder's office and I have to buy a house, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their houses will be built in 2 years from now, okay, and let's say as of now they don't even have a sample ready, okay,
Correct.
or what they will do is they will show me a blueprint, okay.
Right.
They'll have a good pamphlet that will say that, hey, this particular house has these many rooms, this is the bedroom, this is the master bedroom, this is the lobby, this is the parking area, this is the garage, and all of this, okay. It will
Right.
tell everything, okay, but you know
Mm.
that that actual house is not available, right?
Right.
That
Right.
actual house is not available, but this blueprint will will be the deciding factor. Let's say you go to 3 such builders, okay, or 5 such builders, okay.
Right.
That blueprint and the cost at which it is happening, I mean, not exactly cost at this point of time, but that blueprint will be the deciding factor, which will help you understand what is it that you are trying to achieve, right?
Right. Right.
I
Right.
mean, okay. So
Right.
that way, this program which is written to like help applications talk to each other, that is one thing, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Mm-hmm.
API, application programming interface, is that single document which will tell that this particular program or this particular organization, let's say organization like Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, they have, or even Google Maps, they have their APIs available, right?
Right.
So
Right.
those API documents, what it will tell basically that this particular organization or even a small application written, what are the kind of operation it offers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What is the input to that operation, if any? It's not necessary every operation has an input, like let's say there's an API written to get the flight details, okay, which will be
Right.
building in the uh, okay. So it is to get all the flights. So to get all the flights, it need not need any input, right? It will just fetch the values for us, right?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
so if it is going to fetch the values for us, so that particular API, I mean, that particular operation is not sending input, okay. And it might, I mean, it might take one or more inputs, and it might bring one or more outputs. It might not bring any output. It is just the intention is to send that information, and you are not even getting any acknowledgement back. That also kind of, so any operation, like remember when we used to connect with WhatsApp earlier, we didn't
Mm-hmm.
had the acknowledgement, those two blue ticks, right? That
Correct.
started
Correct.
happening, I think, after 1 or 2 years of WhatsApp came into picture. I don't even remember after how many years, but it
Right.
came after very long, right?
Right.
So so that's how it is, that whenever you are integrating, you need not have an input, need not have an output. You can have both. You may not have any one of them, kind of. So that is the integration that is happening, or whatever the application is doing, okay. It is actually a
Right.
service given to us, but how to connect to that service and what are the different operations that service offers, that particular thing is written in a document, which is your application programming interface,
Right.
okay. Right, like
Right.
remember your first few classes in your computer classes in your school or college, which used to tell what are those like interface peripheral devices, right?
Right.
It
Right.
used to
Right.
be a mouse, it used to
Yeah.
be a keyboard. So interface basically means what will help you do that handshake, okay. That is that
Mm-hmm.
document which will help you. So in case of programming languages, that API is a contract, a document which tells that how you are going to integrate with the underlying application, okay.
Right. Right.
um, in MuleSoft, everything is, you'll hear a lot about API. So the very first chapter that we are going to do today is how to create an API using AnyPoint .mulesoft.com. So MuleSoft basically gives you two kind of options to write your APIs. Okay, one is a
Okay.
cloud-based one. Okay,
Mm.
another is on-premise. So when I say cloud-based, it is just like any other social networking site also, or any website that you open. Okay, wherein you log in, you have options available. I mean, if you have worked on Salesforce.com, it will be similar to that also. You just have to log in and it will have few menus available, which you can use to create an API, to publish an API, to share an API. Okay, right from
Right.
creating the API, applying security policies to that API, there are a lot of things that the cloud-based option offers you. Okay, so this
Right.
cloud-based is anypoint.mulesoft.com. Before coming into this meeting, did you happen to study about MuleSoft and create an account on anypoint.mulesoft.com? Because at times when I connect with the students, they have already created an account on anypoint.mulesoft.com. I'm just
Oh,
trying to understand.
I didn't do that actually.
Okay, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So can you just go
Yeah, I'll
ahead and it's a very simple thing. If you want, you can share your screen also. Go to, I mean,
okay.
don't immediately. I'll just talk about it. So the cloud-based
Okay.
solution that is available is anypoint.mulesoft.com, and the on-premise solution that is available is Anypoint Studio. Okay.
Studio. Okay.
So so you understand, I mean, cloud-based on-premise, what's the difference? How exactly it is?
So on-premise is for local systems, right?
Right, exactly. So it's your if you worked on, like, you said that you tried your hands on DBA stuff and all. Okay. So you would have used a Toad or SQL developer, right? I mean,
Right.
some kind of that form. So Toad, SQL developer, or I don't remember what are the tools available, but these
Right.
kind of tools you have used. So likewise, and nowadays you might be able to write your PL SQL code also on cloud also. I think them. I mean, like we have Microsoft Azure and all available. So you
Right.
need not need that ID on your system. You can do that on cloud also. So likewise, the
Hmm.
cloud-based solution is anypoint.mulesoft.com, and the on-premise IDE is Anypoint Studio. Okay.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
Anypoint Studio, it will not start immediately right now. At least till module 3, we don't need it. Okay. So, but for today's session to proceed, you need to have a account created. This is a 1 month free trial that will be available to you. Okay,
Okay.
and after 1 month, I mean, you won't be, your account will be suspended if it is a free account, but you can, with the same email ID, you can create a new one. That's what you can
Okay.
do, at least till the time you are not working on a live project. Because if we are working on a live project and your account gets suspended, so it becomes a little difficult, right? But till the time
Right.
you are into practicing mode and learning mode, creating a new account should not be a problem, right? So
Right.
go ahead with this 1 month free trial. You can I'll just give you the presenter rights, okay? And
Sure.
then you can share your screen and try creating an account on anypoint.mulesoft.com.
Sure.
Make presenter. Okay, yeah. Any point.mulesoft.com.
Any point.
It seems you have a subscription of Anytime Fitness.
No, I was searching for it. Everything is closed usually.
This is mulesoft.com. Go to the second one. Second one. Yeah. Okay. And there's an option to sign up
Oh,
below. No, sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up. Yeah. Then you can give your details and Meanwhile, I will also log into my anypoint.com. Okay, so you have been able to create your account. Just remember the
Yeah.
username and password, Krishna, because you want me
Yeah.
to call you Krishna?
Yeah, anything is fine. Krishna is fine.
Okay, yeah. So Krishna, just try to create, I mean, remember this password because we will be using this a lot during the whole training. Okay, I'll
Right.
quickly share back my screen and talk
Okay.
about this Anypoint platform.
Yeah.
So see, since I mean, talking about Anypoint platform itself is a complete module itself, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is covered in the, like, module 2, introducing the Anypoint platform is totally about this. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
since we'll be going to the third module, I will
Mm.
quickly tell you that basically over here, like 5 minutes, I'll tell you that access management basically tells that what are the I mean, see, right now it is only one user, which is Monica user over here. But let's say I can add user, I can give them privileges. That kind of things are done via access management. Then when I create APIs, the application programming interfaces. So creating API is one thing, but you need to apply securities also. You cannot just call any API. You cannot call the Facebook API without logging into it, right? So such kind of
Oh.
things, managing of the API is done from the API manager. And then when you create the main implementation, okay, I mean, we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about all of this in detail in the second module, but I'm just giving you an overview of each of these things. So
Okay.
you are creating an API, but behind the scenes, you have to write a logic also, right? I mean,
Right.
you have created the blueprint of the house, but the final construction has to happen, right?
Yeah.
So an actual constructed house or your actual implementation is run in the runtime manager. Okay, whatever
No.
is the logic. Okay, after that, visualizer, I don't know, I haven't used much, but monitoring, because in your free account over here, at least, monitoring part, you will get a message that you cannot use monitoring, you don't have the permission to access monitoring. But in the actual paid accounts, my friend, there you will have, I mean, because you're running your logging in runtime manager, right? So all the
Right.
logging information will be available in your Anypoint monitoring. Okay. So the main thing that we are going to do today, we are going to do the design center and we are going to write our API. So see, anyways, today in market, like we were talking, there are a lot of integration tools available. There are a lot of this thing available, databases available. So everything has flavors. Even if you go to buy a house, you have different builders. If you go to buy a car, you have different options, right?
Right.
So
Right.
likewise, how can API stay behind? So the tools to write an API, there are a lot of tools available. Okay,
Mm.
like we have YAML, we have RAML, and these are basically for REST based. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we have also SOAP based tools available, like SOAP is not, and these are not even tools, these are standards. Okay,
Right.
SOAP based solutions available. So like the SOAP based solution majorly, which is WSDL. Okay, and after RAML it is also WADL. So there are a lot of REST-based solutions available to write the API. So first of all, since we spoke of this word REST-based and SOAP-based, what do you understand about it?
Mm. I've seen
Hello?
people working on SOAP UI actually. while developing the UI screens.
You're right. Absolutely right. But other than that, okay, you have seen people working. I mean, do you know how to copy the URL from here? But it's okay. You've seen people working on SOAP UI, but still anything else with regard to this thing?
I know that's the standard protocol to design the API, but not
Okay,
much
nice.
goes into it.
Okay, just give me a moment. I'll stop sharing for a
Yeah.
moment. I will open the URL for GoToMeeting. I wanted to open it. I sent it you over Gmail, right? I just want to open it once so that I can explain this thing to you. Just give me a moment. You still there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll share my screen again. Okay, so Krish, what happened
Uh-huh.
was when you had to log into the meeting, I
Mhm.
basically gave you a URL. Okay, hey,
Right.
Krish, take the URL, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So my so basically both REST based and SOAP based solutions are for you to connect with the service. Okay, but
Okay.
REST-based is more of HTTP-based solution, wherein a single URL and you get going and connect. I mean, with this single URL, just think of it. Behind the scenes, whatever logic GoToMeeting would have written to like to manage these meetings, to record these meetings, everything GoToMeeting, there would be some logic, right? But
Right.
to connect to this meeting, there is only one URL, which is this. Okay,
Correct.
right?
Right. Yeah.
If you have your URL handy, can you search after this URL? You will also have like, question mark and training session ID, something
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
this sort. Can you just
Right.
copy that and give it to me?
I've tried doing that. I don't know where I
Which
can
is
find
fine,
it.
which is fine. Okay, so it will be training session ID equal to blah, 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 whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was done only via the web browser and you just with SOAP-based, what happens is that your request that goes, it
Mm-hmm.
always goes in a SOAP envelope. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I don't see
Okay.
everything. I just see gotomeeting.com.
Okay, that's fine. It's okay. I mean, because I remember in one of the sessions I had not closed the browser and I was able to show the complete URL. But it's okay.
Oh.
I mean, URL looks something like this only. So when REST based and SOAP based this thing, they are basically a means of communicating only with the target service. Okay,
Right.
but target communication. But the implementation is different. Okay, so
Okay.
earlier you remember we used to have these watches wherein you used to, I mean, very old ones at the time of our parents or so, wherein you
Uh,
had to set it in the morning every day. Some coil or so had to be set every day before it can we can get started with it, right? So
yeah.
and
Yeah.
late
Yeah. Right.
nowadays we have all the automate watches which can even tell you your heartbeat and all these things.
Correct.
So the soap-based solution, it's very much valid today, also being used a lot today in market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just it is a little heavyweight as compared to
Okay.
rest based. Okay, why it
Mm-hmm.
is more heavy based as compared to the rest based is a very simple reason. If you have to call a REST based service, you have a URL and you get going. It is using only HTTP, but SOAP based is basically using SOAP over HTTP. Okay, when I say SOAP over HTTP, what I'm trying to say is that see, hypertext transfer protocol anyways have to be used when you are trying to call something over the internet. Okay,
Right.
but putting that in a SOAP envelope makes it a little bulky. Okay, and
Okay.
I don't have like I can search on Google particularly for a soap
Okay.
envelope, how it looks. Okay, but I mean, for now you need not even go into that because today anyways there are so many new things coming to you, MuleSoft integration, everything.
Yeah.
So
Right.
for now, just understand we have two solutions available for APIs.
Okay.
As per my experience with MuleSoft, more of REST-based solutions are used as compared to SOAP-based solution, because REST-based are newer, HTTP-based, and they are lightweight. But I would not say that SOAP solution is not used at all, because I myself have written services which are SOAP-based. Okay,
Okay.
because
Okay.
like if your client says that I am able to send a SOAP message only to you, an XML only to you, then what will I do? Okay, I have to create a SOAP-based solution for them, right? So
Okay.
it's not
Okay.
that the soup paste is not used, but during this training, I mean, we can in one of the days we can talk about the soap based solution also, but during this training what majorly is going to be discussed is this RAML. Okay, so RAML, I mean, because MuleSoft majorly uses RAMLs only. Okay, and the full form of this is REST API Modeling Language. During, after 4 or 5 sessions or in a week or two, what we'll do, we'll come to soap based solutions also, because it will be required at some point of time, but more from the perspective of the training and clearing the certification, it will be this that you will be using across. Okay, I mean, it's just your footsteps or your ABCD that you are going to do with RAML. You
Right.
will start
So
writing the RAML.
yeah, yeah. I remember someone telling me like SOAP only communicates with XML, whereas REST is with JSON, XML, simple text, and everything.
Right, right, good. So, I mean, if you have that information, I'm really happy. Yes. So, SOAP one only XML it uses over here. Okay,
Mm.
and RAML, it can use JSON also. It can use
Okay.
XML also, and it can use other things also. It's not just it's like basic text also you can send. Okay, so
Right.
that also gives SOAP based, I mean, RAML based solution an added advantage. Okay,
Okay.
so, or the REST based solution an added advantage, because remember we were talking about that English example, that 5 people
Yeah.
or 10 people who know different
Right. Right.
languages.
Right.
What English was to those global languages, XML
Mhm.
is basically to the integration languages. I would say that XML is the I mean, when I was talking about this, right, the PPT, this one, okay, when this thing was getting decided that okay, we will have middleware solutions, and which will help different applications talk to each other, there
Mhm.
at that point of time XML was the one that was that common language that was being used. But yeah, to I mean, then later on JSON, XML, text base, and JPGs, and whatever you have to send, there are a lot of options available. And the tool
Mhm.
that like you told that you have seen people using the tool SOAP UI, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for RAML based solution, the tool that will be used is Postman. You will even have to download that tool, not in today's session, but in few
Okay.
days from now. Okay, and
Okay.
then we also have ARC, which the whole training talks about ARC, but I use Postman because I'm more used to it. So this is the advanced REST client. Okay. So
Right.
Postman and advanced REST client are the two things. And SOAP UI also, if we are going to create any, although the complete this 13-day modules doesn't ask you to create any SOAP based solution. Okay, but since I was telling you that it is a good to have knowledge, probably after you cleared the certification or somewhere in between, we'll talk about SOAP UI. So it will be like not in terms of certification studies, SOAP based understanding, that will be more of your knowledge base increasing, because see, if you are trying to
Okay.
go into the integration world, understanding
Mhm.
SOAP is also important, right?
Okay. Okay.
So basically, coming back, sorry, I'm yawning in between. Yeah, so coming back, my friend, we will park this soap-based studies for now. We will
Right.
focus only on this, because that is what our this thing is doing. Okay, so Raml. So Raml, I'll go to a new page. So I told you that we talked about APIs. Okay, so to write an API, the language that is used is Raml. This is also we talked. Okay, so Raml basically how it looks. Okay, so there is something called resources and methods used in Raml. Okay,
Okay.
so resources and methods in the sense, let's say this particular URL which we were talking about. Okay, we'll take this URL as the base. Okay, so in this particular URL, my friend, this is the particularly like the server that we are trying to access. Okay, but
Right.
after the or the IP or so whatever it is, after this portion, okay,
Right.
this portion will be part of your, I would say, RAML or whatever is the this thing written, whatever is
Oh.
the API written. So over here, this thing slash join, okay,
Right.
and then again after slash join, it has some slash number, okay. So this is our, it was 9-digit unique meeting ID number. It will be different for this meeting and it will be different for another meeting. Agreed?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Today we are
So
trying to connect.
okay.
Bolo.
So the company will write API only till join, and after that everything is automatic.
Actually, they will write API still here. Sorry,
Oh, till
I
that.
copied the whole till here.
But
I'll explain you. Give me some. Okay. So this is dynamic. Okay. So
Right.
since this is dynamic, they will give a placeholder. I don't know what is the placeholder, because placeholder name what they would have used, I am not aware. Right. They would have
Right.
given a placeholder, but let's say this placeholder is meeting ID.
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever it comes in a curly braces, it becomes a dynamic thing which has to be entered by the person who is calling this service or this
Oh.
API. Okay,
Oh.
so this becomes a dynamic thing, but this thing is called basically a URI parameter. Okay, in this whole URL, this thing becomes a URI parameter, and whatever is, so both join and both meeting ID, these both are resources. Okay, I mean this is the term used. Okay,
Right.
like let's
Right.
say I am creating an API for Facebook, so my Facebook API might look something like Facebook. Okay, then within Facebook something like Messenger, then
Yeah.
other than Messenger it will have something like cover page or whatever it
Yeah.
offers, right? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
whatever it offers. So basically what you are trying to, the object that you are trying to deal with is your resource. Okay,
Okay.
and then if you have to add a unique value, okay, let's say join meeting ID, basically there might be on this account also where we have logged in, where I was facing issues to log in today morning. So for
Right.
this particular account also, there might be hundreds of meetings available. Okay, but out of those hundreds of meetings, that one meeting where I have to connect to that unique ID will, because see, when the RAML is written, RAML will have no logic. RAML or API is logicless. It will not have any logic. The main application written behind the scenes will have the logic. Getting my point? Like if you're that house blueprint example that I was talking about, it will
Right.
tell the dimensions that okay, this particular room is this into this dimensions, but it will not, obviously it cannot contain that much space also. It is just a paper which will be having that information, right? Or even
Uh,
online these, right? So
but
like
for this resource, there is a logic, right? Join means you need to click on join and give the meeting ID, then only you can join.
agreed, you have to click on join and meeting ID you have to, but I mean this, I mean uh, that you are going to join to this particular meeting,
Right.
my RAM will not have that logic. Okay, RAML
Okay.
is just the interface, like the computer interface devices that I was talking about. Like,
Okay.
see, I am clicking over here, or I am clicking over here. My interface device, that is my laptop, whatever we call it, or even I'm using a mouse over here, let's say. So my interface device will not have the logic written that the moment I click over here, it becomes green, right? That
Okay.
logic, my interface device doesn't have that logic. Okay. So
Okay.
join meeting ID will mean that you click on join and you attend this meeting. Okay. Definitely you're going to attend this meeting, but that after the user has clicked on join and this particular meeting ID, this particular meeting ID is eventually being joined, eventually being recorded. That logic is written behind the scenes in that application. The API document will not have that logic. That is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
API document will only have information about what are the resources available and what are the methods available for that particular resource. I mean, it will have more description also, it will have examples also, it will have data type also, but majorly it will have this information only. Even in a WSDL document or any API for that matter, more or less it contains what are the operations available,
Okay.
okay, and what are the like requests and responses to those operations. Simply
Okay.
stated. So any API document will have this information only, just like that blueprint, what are the rooms available, what are the amenities available, all of these things. And to use those amenities, you have to pay this. To use those amenities, you have to do this, so on and so forth. Likewise, it will also, API will also talk about the operations available, how to call that operation, what method to use to call that operation, what are the request and response. That information will also be there in the API document, but actual implementation, my friend. So API is basically, if you call it, is a package of API plus implementation, or we can
Okay.
call implementation or the application, which will have the underlying logic. That is what I'm trying to tell you since the beginning.
Okay.
API is that interface. When you use the Google Maps API and you try calling that API and you actually get the directions, so it is the complete package of API plus the implementation of it. Okay.
Okay.
You
Okay.
talk about the API document, that document basically tells how, or the YAML document over here will tell how and what. That's it. I mean, um,
Oh,
I'm not sure if I'm using how what correctly, but you got the point, right?
right.
So over here, um, within my resources, if I have to filter out, I mean, actually I am not filtering out, the logic written behind the scenes will be using this meeting ID, okay, to connect you to the right meeting. Okay, so if
Right.
I have to send any information which will help me filtering out that information, that is called a URI parameter. Okay, likewise we have two kind of parameters available that we can write within the YAML. Two kind of parameters available. Okay, one parameter available is URI parameter, and another parameter that is available is query parameter. Okay, now what is this query parameter? If you see this complete URL, okay, it did not end over here. After that, there is a question mark, and after the question mark, we are saying that the training session ID is 3832, so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So in the complete URL, whatever we have in the form of a key value pair, okay, whatever we have in the form of key value pair is the query parameter, okay, and whatever we have, like, and this is after question mark, and
Okay.
this is your before question mark, and we can even have multiple of these. Like if I open the Postman tool over here, and I try opening any of the applications. Hmm. Okay, so if you see over here, my friend, This is one such API which I tried, and I would have tried to call in also. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the URL of that API. Okay. This was I had created on locally using Anypoint Studio, so that's why I've given localhost. Okay.
Right.
This is the flight API. Over here, if you see, flights is the resource, but there is no URI parameter in this one. So it's not that you have to give a URI parameter in your YAML. It's your requirement, right? And
Right.
then further to filter out, I have added two query parameters over here. One query parameter is name, other query parameter is last name. So two query parameters are segregated by an ampersand in between. Okay, and this is a
Right.
key value pair. Name equal to Monica, last name equal to Ahuja, right? So this is a key value pair. I can have multiple of them. So basically, RAML gives you two. And you actually can, go ahead within the RAML. Once we'll study now, we'll be using URI parameter also, and we'll be using query parameter also. So you can define
Right.
the query parameter in your RAML itself. Okay.
Right.
But it is giving you two kind of parameters to help you filter out your information. Okay.
Right.
Like and it is more or less like a query parameter can still give you multiple values. URI parameter too can give you multiple values. Let's say over here I'm saying flight, and the URI parameter is flight number, so FL123. Okay, and my service that is created is to bring the name of all customers where FL123 who are using FL123 for today. Okay, so
Right.
FL123 and the date is like kind of today. Let's say I'm not giving the proper date right now. Date is today. So over here, date is the query parameter. FL123 is a URI parameter. It can bring me multiple values of customers. It will definitely bring me multiple values of passengers over here. But
Right.
I mean, URI parameter, to your understanding, both URI parameter and query parameter helps to filter out the information. Again, how to filter out that information? The logic is not written within RAML. That logic will be written somewhere in between the application or implementation which will be running behind the scenes. Okay. And
Okay.
also, if I have to, if my resource has this, let's say resource after join and meeting ID, I have a method called get. Okay, I'll tell you what the method. Don't worry, we are only talking about resources right now. So if I have a method called get, so if
Filter. That's filter.
meeting ID is a required parameter over here. So URI parameter if are usually the required parameters, right? Because your path has the URI parameter, so you cannot tomorrow you go and you click on join and you will be able to join. Does that happen that way? No. So
No.
had I given you this URL, it wouldn't have worked for you, right? You wouldn't have been able to join in, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, that's why since you haven't been able to join in without the URI parameter because your RAML or your API had this as the parameter. Okay, so you have
So
to pass it.
till
So
FL123, it's generic. After question mark, it's a filter.
see, my friend, FL123 is also help in filtering out the flight numbers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So till flights, it's generic.
till flights is generic. After that,
Yeah.
filtering information, two options available. One is a URI parameter, other is a query parameter. Query parameter is key value pair, and this thing is no key value pair. URI parameter doesn't have any key value pair, but if your path or your resource has a URI parameter, you have to enter it. You won't be able to, even if you give this URL, okay,
Mhm.
not over here, might be they'll have something written for this also. But if my service has a meeting ID in the URL and I don't pass the meeting ID, it will say that your path is incorrect. It will give you some error.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
So this was a bit about resources. We will read
Mhm.
about it from the PPT also. And now coming on to the methods that are used. Okay.
Mhm.
So my friend, actually within REST based APIs, there are only a particular set of methods that you can use. Those are HTTP methods, because I told you this is HTTP based, right? So the
Right.
method we use, it can be get, post, put, patch, delete, copy, head options. These are the kind of methods that you can use, right?
Right.
In Mule, we will be focusing majorly on the 5 methods. One is get, post, put, patch, delete. You will not even
Yeah.
look into copy, head options. There are a lot of available. I haven't used it as of date, but I will not stop you to use it. You can try it. That's fine.
Right.
But these are
Right.
the basic methods that we are going to use. What are those methods that we are going to use? Uh, get, post, put, patch, and
Yeah.
delete. What
Okay.
exactly these methods do, in the first few chapters, first and second chapter, we will have one topic which will tell, okay, what exactly get does, what exactly put does. As of now, in today's meeting where we have to create the RAML, we will be using get and post today. Okay.
Okay.
And in get and post, what I can tell you is get is something which is used to fetch information, and
Okay.
this is trying to post or create information. So when I say fetch information, let's say you are trying to call a service again to fetch all the flights. Okay.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
sorry. This one is written to fetch the passengers traveling via FL 123 on today's date. Okay,
Right.
so it will give you the list of 300, 400 passengers, whatever is the number of passengers that particular plane can carry and who are there for today, right?
Right.
So
Right.
if I have to get information, the suggested way is that I use the get method in that case and not use the post method. Having said that, in my, so this is my RAML which I'm writing, right? It has अच्छा ये तो इसकी RAML नहीं है ना, let's say ये flight वाली RAML हम यहाँ लिख रहे हैं. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm writing the RAML flights. Within flights, I am giving the flight ID as parameter,
Mm.
or I'll just write ID for now, flight का ID. उसके
Okay.
बाद I have to give the method. Okay, because the
Okay.
query parameter comes under the method. Okay, so I have
Right.
to give the get method. Now the thing is, my friend, with the get method होगा क्या, that I mean you can write the logic for fetching the information. I mean, you can use a get method also, you can write over here as a post method also, but as per HTTP standards, the right way is to use the get method. What I'm trying to say is that if even if you use the post method and write the implementation, it will not fail for you anywhere. ठीक है?
Okay.
It is not
Okay.
going to fail for you. But what
Right.
right now the get method is doing is, get method is basically the HTTP standard method used for fetching information. So if you're writing the API, so basically let's say you're writing a blueprint document for that construction house. Okay,
Mm.
and
Mm.
probably they say that the open area has to be shown as green and the occupied area has to be shown as yellow, kind of. Okay,
Right. Right.
even if the tool with which you are writing your blueprint, in open area you start giving purple, okay, it will
Mm.
not error out, right? But the
Right.
suggested method is that you have to use green color coding for your open area, right? So
Okay.
like
Okay.
here also, the suggested method to fetch information is get. Okay,
Mm.
even if
Mm.
you would have written post and you would have written the logic to fetch information, it wouldn't have failed anywhere. But the right way
Right.
is use the get method over here. And now when you have to create certain information, like if you're sending information and you have to send that information to the database, you have to send some records to Salesforce. Okay, like we have worked on integrations wherein the source ERP application is sending the account information. Okay, and that
Okay.
account has to be created on salesforce.com, right? So in that scenarios, we go ahead and let's say we write account. Okay, and then maybe if not necessary the account ID or something, like it's not mandatory over here, account ID,
Okay.
APC ID, and then the method that we used to send information in such cases is post. Okay.
Okay.
Again, I'm telling, if I even would have written a get method over here and behind the scenes I'm writing logic, nothing is going to error out. But if I have to create something, I will use the post method. If I have to fetch something, if I have to fetch something, going to use the get method. Okay.
Okay.
So now this very small RAML, this is actually a RAML fragment that you are seeing from line number 15 to line number 17. Yeah, this very small RAML fragment over here, it is giving you it is a combination of resources and methods. It has two resources. One resource is flights resource, other resource is ID resource. I told you URI parameter is also a resource. Remember that. Okay.
Right.
So whatever starts with a slash in the YAML is a resource. So flights is also a resource, ID is also a resource, and get is a method. This is basically telling that I am going to fetch information of flights passing the ID using the get method. तो ये एक छोटा सा भी आपका एक valid
Okay.
YAML. Okay.
Right.
Now there are a lot of other information we can add to it, like the kind of response that we are. So in get method, since we are trying to fetch information, we send no request, only response. Okay. While post, it is both request and again, maybe or may not, why I'm saying is may or may not response, because my friend, just think of it, you are just sending information, you don't need any acknowledgement back. The WhatsApp example that I was telling about, right, that you used to send the information to the other person, you didn't knew that this person has read it or not. It has, earlier it used to be single tick, then it used to be double tick, then it used to be double blue tick. Remember, that was the history of it, right? So that way, the first time they had written the service, they wouldn't have, may or may not response was their funda. Later on, they realized that if we get some kind of response, it will be a good to have thing. So post is used to post and create information. It will definitely have the, again, request also is not mandatory. But in generally you are sending the request, like let's say you are trying to post some information and URI parameter is sufficient, URI and query parameter is sufficient to send the information. In that case, you need not send the request, but get में तो request नहीं भेजनी चाहिए. आप भेजोगे तो there is no problem, it is not going to fail for you. But post में तो information जाती भी है, request जाती भी है और response आता भी है. Okay.
So
now we will
from 15 to 17, what are we trying to get the response? Flight ID, right?
No, flight ID is going to be part of your request. It will be part of your URI parameter.
Right. We are giving FL123. We will be getting all the information of FL123.
हाँ, तो देखो, I mean later on during the session and in this PPT, there is a section to define the responses also. Okay. So because I want that whatever we have studied about resources and methods, let's just study about it first, read about it, then we will go to the request and response section. That is not a problem. Okay. But abhi main wo, I was sharing the information which is good for us to at least read 4, 5 or 7, 8 pages for now in our PPT. Okay. So this is the training, this is RAML. Okay. So within my RAML, as I told you, the very first thing that is part of my RAML are the resources and methods, right? So on the right hand side, the picture that you are seeing, the 5th line is a resource, the 9th line is a resource, 6th and 7th line are your method. Likewise, 10th, 11th, 12th, they are all methods. And the responses section, which I told that we'll be covering later. Okay,
Yeah.
and any RAML, the very first line tells about the version, I mean RAML 1.0 that we are using. You can optionally add a version to your RAML, because let's say you initially created your RAML only for get and post methods. Then you added
Right.
on to your RAML for delete input methods also. So versioning has to be maintained if you want to use it. And then a title on the third line, you're giving a title to your RAML, that it's a kind of description, and anything has to have a title, right? So
Yeah.
okay, over here I'll quickly read through it. So resources are those objects identified by the web service URL that you want to act upon using the HTTP method used for the request. Okay. Resource are those object identified which जिनके ऊपर हमारे methods act करेंगे. Like over here, if flights is the resource on the line number 5, get and post will act upon flights. Okay.
Okay.
Get, delete and
Right.
put act upon flight/id. वो सिर्फ id पे नहीं करेगा. Like
Right.
id over here, since it is indented under flights, id is a child element or child resource of flight. So id cannot,
Right.
you cannot call the service directly with id. You cannot call the service, that service go to meeting without join. जब तक join नहीं होगा आप कोई भी like you cannot like go to meeting.com/meeting number नहीं. You have to give
Okay.
join/id, only then you can call that service, right? Likewise
You
over
have
here
to give flights, then only you can get ID.
get नहीं those, यहाँ पे हम id भेज रहे हैं, we are sending the id, but
Okay.
over there in GoToMeeting, you are sending the meeting ID, right? So that you can
Right.
join the meeting. So
Right.
over here, if you have to call the ID method, hey, can I take a break for like 5
Yeah.
minutes? I mean,
Sure.
for
Sure. Yeah.
I'll break 5 minutes.
Sure.
I actually have to call my mom also. So
Sure.
just okay. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I was. I mean, I had to give a wake up call to my mom. So
Okay.
that's why I took a break in between. Huh. So Resources and methods we were studying, right? So the second point says that all resources begin with a slash. Fifth line, ninth line, whatever is beginning with a slash is a resource. Any methods and parameters nested under a resource belong to and act upon that resource. What it is trying to say is that any method, like just consider the ID method. So get, delete, and put are methods. It will act upon ID, I mean flights come ID, and responses is a parameter. So any methods and parameters nested in a resource belong to and act upon this resource, which is flights ID. Okay.
Right.
Nested resources are used for a subset of a resource to narrow it down. Like just understand now, flights ID, if I have to narrow down my flights based on the flight number, or I have to narrow down my passenger list based on my flight number, so that's why I'm nesting it to narrow it down. Okay. And
Right.
URL parameter are enclosed in curly braces. That is also what we studied, right? URL parameters जो curly braces में होते हैं, right? You understand a bit of Hindi in between, right? I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Now, in any point platform, using the design center, I am going to write my first YAML file. Okay. Now, since I am going to write my first YAML file, ये design center, I'll go to the design center, give a name of my this thing, like I am going to give the name as American Flights API. The moment I give the name of my this thing YAML file or API specification बोलते हैं उसको यहाँ पे.
Okay.
So it will open this page which will have these 4 sections. Okay. The main editor in between where we are writing the API or YAML file, and then the shelf which will be a, like, you know, help section. Like the moment I'm writing something in the editor, it will give me suggestions that you can give an enum, you can give a display name, you can give a description. So these are the this thing suggestions that keeps coming with the API. So that comes in the shelf section. Okay. Then we have the file browser. Let's say I am trying to import something, I'm trying to refer to another file. So that is going to be there in the file browser. I can refer different files. Okay. And then we have the API console where we can go and test my API. Okay. When I say test my API, अभी implementation तो लिखी नहीं है, तो फिर how will I test it? Any idea?
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm asking you. This is a question.
No.
I have not written my API. How will I test my API?
Yeah, you can't.
Okay, I'll tell you how we can test it. Again, we go to our example of this thing.
Without writing, you can test it?
Listen to me, na, I'll tell you how. See, you remember we were talking about the construction site and everything, right? Blueprint ready hai. They say, I say that, see, looking at the blueprint, I'm not satisfied that how my house is going to be. I am not interested. Thank you so much. Then the person says, hey, I have another option for you. Using artificial intelligence, we have these goggles created. We have this machine, and you put it on a eyes, and when you walk, you will get a simulation that you are actually walking in your actual house. Okay. You will be able to open the door also, you will be able to sit on the bed also, you will be able to look outside the balcony also. So using this simulation, you can actually go into your house, and then, okay, I went into my house and then I told them, hey, I feel that the kitchen slab is very small. The height should be adjusted to like, you know, add 2 more meters to it, because I am like tall. This height, it will be difficult for me to you know, manage with this particular height. Likewise, I will say that I am going to buy a jumbo big huge fridge. The space for putting the refrigerator is very small. Okay. And I'm a typical Indian girl, I'm giving all the options for the kitchen only, but it's okay. So likewise, there is this option to mock the service, okay, which will not give you the actual output, but because in the responses section we will tell that, okay, the application JSON is the output, or we will give examples. So using the information I added in my API, the mocking service will help you to test it. Okay, and that's the beauty of it, because if my business team has told me that, hey, you have to create an API for so and so. Okay, now I take a budget of like a time duration of 4 months, and a budget of, like, it's a huge project, and I took up got this budget like 2 million sanctioned. Okay,
Okay.
after those 2 million sanction in 4 months, when the users start using that particular API, they say, oh God, you have missed this functionality. This is a very basic functionality. You should have added this as a parameter. We need this information now. Okay, but I say, oh my God, this is a code change for us. Give me
Yeah.
at least, half the price more, or not half the price, 1/4, or even 10%. Okay,
Yeah.
and another 15 days. But they will say, oh my God, the go live anyways is delayed by, I mean, 4 months was already extra. So you're getting my point. That is how it happens with the business these days.
So
So
like my question is, अभी तक आपने like you didn't write anything in editor, right? How can something show up in API console?
अभी दिखाऊंगी ना मैं दोस्त, तुम चिंता मत करो, ठीक है? Whatever information, minimal information I will enter in my API, accordingly the API console will start get developing. अगर मैं सिर्फ एक information लिखती हूँ कि मुझे flight call करनी है और उसमें get method call, till the time I don't mention the a single resource and method, I won't be able to test my API. ठीक है? But ये जो
Okay.
इतना सा मैंने लिख के दिखाया था ना आपको, only this thing from 15th
Right.
to 17th line, I will be
Yeah.
able to test this also. Basic
Oh.
testing, not proper testing.
Okay.
Okay, the moment I start adding more information to it, like the example responses and any other thing, that time I will be able to test it better. Okay,
Okay. From
I
15
mean,
to 17, you can only look at the kitchen walls. That's it. No fridge, no.
I'll show you, my friend. Let's just do it now. तो अभी कहाँ पे है हम, डिजाइन सेंटर, राइट? सो आई click on create new, and API specification is what I'm going to create right now. I name the this thing is American Flights API, and this is, I will write K in the end because I'm creating it with Krishna. Okay, and I am going to use a text editor. RAML 1.0 is what I'm going to use anyways. Okay, the old version of RAML is also available, but hey, my friend, I know RAML 1.0 creation only. Then I'm going to save it to the design center. I'll click on create specification.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, the moment I click on create specification, all the 4 things that I was talking about, which is your file browser, which is your text editor, which is your API console on the right hand side, and the shelf is below. It is not giving something because I haven't, like, the moment I give enter, it is giving me suggestions. Okay, now on the right hand side, if you see right now, it is blank, completely blank. मैं जैसे ही यहाँ पे enter करती हूँ, ठीक है, पहली बात तो it is giving me an error because get was not indented. The get has to be a nested resource. The method has to be a nested resource. Like method has to be nested under resource. So I will do this, and the problem will be solved. इसमें कुछ क्या है यार? Let me see. Let me write it again because that was written in a text pad, notepad, right?
Yeah.
ID flights के नीचे I am going to give this ID. Okay, underneath ID I am going to give the get method, and you are seeing that this shelf is helping. And just see, the moment I'm adding something, ये API endpoint अपने आप बन रहे हैं. ये अभी API console was completely blank, right? And beneath ID I go and click on the get method. Okay, the moment I click on the get method, this get method green over here is appearing, right? Now how I'm going to use my API console to test this one right now, right? Abhi kya hai, over here, till the time I do not open my mocking service, I won't be able to test it. Okay, so first I will turn on my mocking service, which is the simulation. Okay, I turned on the mocking service. The moment I turn on the mocking service, अभी देखो यहाँ एक base URI नहीं था, ठीक है?
हाँ, yeah.
Because see, like, just come to think of it now.
Right.
You are calling gotomeeting.com/join. You cannot directly call /join, right? You need to
Right.
have, like, initial URL for it. So the base URI over here, it is here. Till the time I do not turn on the mocking service, the base URI goes off when I turn it off, right? And I click
Right.
on get. Get के लिए वो क्या कह रहा है? Flights ID, it is asking for a ID parameter which is required. I told you the URI parameter is always required, right? I'll
Right,
click
right.
on write. This time it will give me an error because the URL is invalid. Why? Because it doesn't have a URI, base URI. Okay. I
Right.
will go, okay, and I'll turn on the mocking service.
Okay.
The moment I turn it on and I click on try it, still I have to give the ID because ID is a mandatory parameter. It is a URI parameter. Let's say I'll give any dummy ID 10. Okay.
Mm.
Give the dummy ID 10. And one thing more that you need to focus over here is the moment I give ID 10, in the path it starts appending flights ke aage 10. It starts coming by itself. I give 10 over here because the resource is flights, which was till flights we discussed, right? It is generic. After flights ID, I have to pass a value which is 10. It will be part of my whole URL only,
Correct.
right? And
Yeah.
then when I click on send, because I have not given any information, it is giving me an empty response. Okay. And it
Right.
is also giving me a 200 OK message. Okay, so because I did not define any example response or so, I'll give you an example for response. If let's say if I give some example response, it will be responses. I'll explain you all of this. I'm just for now showing you if I have to give an example response. And body, I will say application JSON, and let's say in example I give a customer name. Okay, and now if I try to test this particular service, try it, add 10 as a parameter. So if you see now, since the body type was application JSON and I gave customer name Monica, it gave me a JSON response because I gave
Right.
this as an example. Okay, so now you're trying to get my point that if to the business in the very beginning, I would have given that, look, this is the API I'm creating. Can you try testing it and come back to me with feedback? So it would save time also, and it will save money also, because at a later point of time, after everything has gone live into production, after that changes come, you know that, I mean, in the complete SDLC cycle, how it works, that if the changes come at a later point of time in the whole process, there is no point. It becomes very expensive, right? Because
Right.
the cycle, the SDLC cycle completely, which is like your dev, test, QA and prod. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
development may, if we try to achieve everything, that is the best part, right? In test,
Right.
also if we face any issue, that's fine. In QA, that issue becomes expensive in terms of, I mean, it will have to be again tested in dev, I mean, test in QA, right? Like
Right.
a test pay, if there is an error or a bug, it has to be retested in test only. But in QA, if there is a bug, it has to be retested in test also and in QA also. And then production, again, it has gone live, might be will be impacting the business also. So that's how it is. That is why MuleSoft is a little famous in terms of these things, that they have given the developers all the tools and everything so that they can again and again get a feedback from the business and do the development in hand. Okay, and that is
Right.
very much suited into today's IT standards, because nowadays everything keeps changing within few months, right? Like till the time this COVID problem was not there,
Mm.
Zoom was not being used that much. Now
Right.
Zoom, Teams meetings, even Netflix, and all these things, Facebook, social networking sites, which were people were using, like, you know, if they were using it like 1 or 2 hours in a day maximum, now people are
Right.
literally were sitting idle at, I mean, see, our kind of jobs are we are able to work from home, but
Right. Right.
for people who are working in supermarkets and all, uh,
Right.
they cannot work from home for a supermarket, right? Or
Correct.
I mean, supermarkets still are opens, but open scary, sorry, it is still open supermarket, but any other thing, you got getting my point, right?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
nowadays dynamics keep changing so much, so one has to build a solution as quickly as possible. Okay, so with
Right.
MuleSoft, with these approaches of testing it, of simulating it, it becomes quickly and easier. Okay,
Yeah.
so coming back to our this thing, whatever we were studying. Okay, so this is the API designer. You already had a look and feel, wherein on the left hand side file browser, beach mein editor, shelf, and then we have API console. Right. Now we'll
Right.
quickly start with the walkthrough. The first one, we will use the design center to define an
Yeah.
API with YAML. That's what we are doing. Even we already did something in that regard, right?
Right.
We will
Right.
define resources and nested resources. We will define the get and post methods. We will specify the query parameters, because अभी तक हमने query parameter वाला काम नहीं किया. हमने URI parameter we have done, right? Over
Right.
here,
Right.
here I have defined a URI parameter, but I haven't told you how to define a query parameter. Okay,
Right.
so we will do that in this particular this thing walkthrough, and then interact with an API using the console. Okay,
No.
so before I go to step by step of walkthrough, I'll tell you what basically they are asking us to do is, they are asking us to underneath get and underneath flights, they want us to put a get method, and they also want us to put a post method. Okay, and particularly under ID, they want us to call the get method. Okay,
Mm.
and within the get method, in the walkthrough, this is there. I am telling you first, so that once we read through it, then you know what we are telling, what we are trying to achieve.
Yeah.
When under get method, so we read this statement in the very beginning, that all methods and parameters which are nested under a resource apply to that resource. So nesting is very much important, and indentation is very much important. Like if you see, if I come immediately under the get method, I get options to put other methods, like put delete options, but immediately under get method, I do not have the option to give query parameters. But the moment I hit tab, okay, that is I indented a bit, I get this option to put query parameters. Okay, so I will
Right.
go select over here and a single click on query parameters. Okay, now underneath query parameters, whatever I mention will be the name of my query parameter. Like, so what is the name of query parameter? It is like, if you see over here, this one, this URL. Okay, in
Mm.
this URL, your date is the name of your query parameter. Okay, again in this one, this join one, I mean, this is not the complete URL, but whatever is after question mark, over here your training session ID is the query parameter, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Likewise, if we see this, we saw another URL also, right? Or I think it was there in Postman. In this whole URL parameter, anyways, in Postman, it gives you an option, okay, to give your query parameters. So name is one of the query parameter, last name is one of the query parameters, and I can add as many query parameters as possible. I can give another query parameter as date, which I was talking about, and I give it today. So the moment I added date, so one is name equal to Monica. This is first key value pair. Then after an ampersand, the second key value pair, which is last name, is equal to Ahuja. Then after next ampersand, the next value date is equal to today. So these are three query parameters, right? So the
Right.
name of query parameter over here is, one is name, other is last name, the third is date. Likewise, over here, they will ask to create a query parameter with the name destination.
Mm.
Okay, destination is a query parameter, and see, there are a lot of options available. I can tell over here only whether it is a string number. Right now we need not do it. The only now under destination also, if you see, this is indented again to the next level by itself. When I click on enter, it goes indented. It's not I can do back also, but immediately under destination I'm not getting options. But the moment I do a tab, I am getting
Okay.
few parameters. Okay, so one of the
Mm.
parameters the walkthrough is asking us to do is to give the required parameter, and the required parameter they ask us to give as a value as false, which means this is an optional parameter. This is not a mandatory parameter. Okay,
Okay.
fair
Mm.
enough, which is fine,
Yeah.
right? I anyway told you when I was telling you about the difference between URI parameter and query parameter. I told you while kahan pe tha wo, I told you that this is before mark, and this has to be, I mean, if the URI parameter is there, it becomes mandatory. When I say if URI parameter is there, like let's say if you have to call this get method, here your URI parameter is not mandatory, but if you have to call this get method, your ID is mandatory. If you will not give ID, like we tested few minutes back, it was giving that the URL is invalid because ID is mandatory, right? But
Mm.
query parameter, we can give it optionally also. Okay,
Mm.
and then within, so this is basically I have added a query parameter. Now if I try to test this one particularly underneath flights, this get, the first get, okay, which is directly under flights, I will click on get. Okay, and okay, mocking service is already turned on, and it will start showing me that there is one query parameter which is destination, and the type is string. Okay, and then
Right.
if I click on write over here, it will ask me to show optional parameters. Because it is optional, that's why it is asking me to show optional parameters, and destination is one of the parameters over here, right? Because it was not there earlier, but now so whenever, let's say I give the destination as ABCD. Okay,
Yeah.
the moment I give this destination and I look at my URL, how it looks, it will look something like this, my friend. So let me remove the previous URL, otherwise it will be too long. So it is like slash flights. After question mark, my query parameter comes as a key value pair, wherein key is destination and the value is ABCD is what I sent, right?
Yeah.
Following?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, again in the walkthrough, they will give us the option to give enum values. Enum values, like in the drop down, it will start showing you. So in the enum, they ask us to give San Francisco, okay,
Mm.
and one was CLE, and I think other was LRD, okay. So they will tell us to give these as the what we call it, the enum values. Now, if these are the enum values, my friend,
Mhm.
what will happen? I'll again go on the get flights, and I will, it is showing now, I mean, whatever I'm writing over here, my API console starts reflecting it, if you notice, right? The moment I
Right.
add a new method over here, it will start reflecting over here. Whatever I enter on the left hand side, it will start reflecting on the right hand side, right?
Right.
Now
Right.
if I click on the try method over here and I click on
Mm.
show optional parameters, here comes a drop down.
Okay.
But where, I mean, the drop down generally shows SF. I think there is some problem. Let me back to docs and turn off the mocking service. And I think I've given it correctly only. I don't know why it is not reflecting properly. And I click on try it and I click on show optional query parameters. Hmm. Hey, I don't know why it is showing on, not showing on my screen.
Right.
Particularly what you can try is try it on your screen and it should start reflecting. I will
Okay.
check if I missed something, because it shows up over here. I mean, I have this option to enter the
Or
query
maybe
parameter.
the
Hmm?
enum. tab before
enum.
enum?
No. There is no tab required before enum because, see, had it been an issue, it would have given me an error otherwise.
Okay.
But I don't know, because this is optional also, no? So even if I do a required true, okay,
Okay. Now it's good.
but that's not, it doesn't behave this way. Trust me.
Okay.
I mean, I have worked with required false also. And now if I give this SFO and I give send, it is giving me 200, okay. And this is empty response. Why it is empty response? Because I haven't given any example or something. But just consider even this small ramble, okay. If I go to the business and I tell that, hey, I'm developing it, you keep testing it simultaneously, so they can tell that, hey, I don't want SFO, I want you to put San Francisco, the whole this thing string, right?
Right.
Or I don't know CLE का क्या full form होगा, whatever it is in airport codes, but
Right.
they want us to add it properly. So I mean, testing it accordingly helps to give the feedback. And okay, so quickly, what I would like you to do is, you have seen whatever I have done, right?
Right.
I want you to share your screen and do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And I will make you the presenter. You have to click on create new. API specification. Here you are trying to create an application. And so you have given a very small name, but that's fine. Okay. Just enter and give the name of your resource. So right now on the API console right hand side, Abhi, see, nothing will come as a suggestion. You have to give the name of your resource, which is flights in our case, right? /flights. वो मैंने टेस्ट ले लेती हूँ, मुझे पता चल जाता है if someone is not listening. Hey, can you just go back on the 4th line?
Okay.
Give a colon, double dots, flights, GHTS and double dots.
Double.
No. I mean colon.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the syntax of writing a resource, or the syntax of writing anything over here, which says that you give a slash and the name of your resource and the colon you give.
Right.
Okay. And the URI parameter was ID in curly braces. You can give it small also, not a problem. And then you will again give a colon. Okay, it starts reflecting on the right hand screen.
Right.
The API console, it is reflecting, right? Now, after the 4th line, give few enters. After the 4th line, just enter. And from the methods, you see there's a method called get. Just click on it, single click. And you can indent back also again.
Back.
Just do backspace.
Okay.
And again, you can use the method called post. So the moment you selected get and post, if you see on the right hand side, it is reflecting it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you go to the ID on the 8th line, enter. It is already indented. You can give the get method. Okay. You can test only this much also. You'll turn on the mocking service, right? And you can test the ID wala part, the get which is below ID. So once you click on try it button, it is asking you to give an ID without which it will not let you proceed. And you can, I mean, other than 10, you can give other ID also. I mean, I just use 10, but it's fine. And if you traverse below, take your this thing, scroll below, just scroll below. On the from the right hand side, scroll below. You will see you start getting empty response back.
Right.
Okay. With the 200 OK method, I'll talk about these methods. 200 OK is not a method; it is a status code. Okay, so I'll talk about status code also. Now, going back to your API, under the get method, you have to give a query parameter name destination. Okay. No. Under the get method. So get is different, post is different. You are giving under post. Just stay over here. Just stay over here. Below there is a parameter. You have to add that parameter, query parameters. Click on it, single click. Now whatever you give will be the name of the query parameter. So we thought of giving destination. Everything has to be ended with a colon. Okay. Again, once you enter, click on enter. For this query parameter, there are options available. So we will be using, no, we are not using example for now. We are going to use the required parameter, the first one. I mean, you can give enum also first, that is not a problem. And you will give required as false for now. I mean, as per, okay, again do an enter. And now enum is available in the parameter on the right side in the shelf.
Yeah.
Right, and you give the parameter as one as SFO. Then again enter slash space. You'll have to give a space. Okay. Now if you try to test this get, now this get is which is the get, this one, right, under flights. And if you see once yeah, and just go to try it now, it is telling you whatever you entered, right? You just click on try it and show optional. Acha nahi, abhi you have to give show optional parameters also, na my friend. There is a checkbox for show optional parameters, right? I don't know why for me it was not showing up even if required is false for you, but it's okay. You select Atlanta and then you just click send. And since you did not define any this thing response, it is giving that response to you. So getting some hold of what we are trying to do over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll quickly share my screen. Okay. And we'll open the PPT again. So basically, what we have done is we have actually created the design center project. So this is actually telling what we have already done. Okay.
Right.
So it is telling return to design center, click the create button and select create API specification. That was the first thing you did. In the new specification dialog box, set the project name to American Flights API. Although you set the project name to KR. Okay, I was trying to tell you that keep it American Flights API, but it's okay. That's fine. It's just a name, right? Ensure code editor is selected. We had there was a text editor option, right? So it is saying that ensure that the code editor is selected and click create specification. Okay, the moment you click on create specification, the API designer opens. Okay.
Yeah.
Now review the 3 sections of API Designer, which is the file browser, editor, and the API console that we saw, right? Now
Yeah.
add a RAML resource. Now in the editor, place the cursor on a new line of code and add a resource called flights. This is what you did. You gave slash flights as a first thing, right? And remember,
Right.
it was slash flights and with a colon. If you
Right.
do not give slash, if you do not give colon, it will give you an error, the syntax error. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, the moment you added flights, look at the API console. Look at the API console on the right side of the window. You should see a summary information for the API. Remember, the moment you write flights, I mean, till the time you had not written flights, the right side was empty. But the
Right.
moment
Right.
you added flight right side, it started reflecting. Okay, and this
Right.
is a basic note if it's not there. Then you will add RAML methods. We added RAML methods for get and post, remember? So that's what it is telling, that in the editor, go to the new line of code and backspace so that you are indented the same amount as the flight resource. And look at the contents of API Designer shelf. I mean, they are basically telling about indentation and everything. That if you are at this place, you enter over here. Acha, it is, if you click on enter over here, at every point you are getting different kind of suggestions. That's it.
Right. Right.
Okay. Indent by pressing the tab key, the contents of API Designer shelf should change. What they are telling is, if you were at this place, the suggestions were different. If you are at this place, the suggestions are different. That is what they're trying to tell. Click the get method in the shelf. We already added the get method, right? Look at the API console. You should see a get method for the flights resource. The moment we add the get method over here, it starts reflecting in the API console on the right hand side, right? If I go to summary over here, since I have added get over here, it starts reflecting get over here, right? You're following, right? I hope the pace is
Yeah.
fine, Krishna.
Right. Right. I'm
I
following.
am just quickly reading what we have already done. That's why I am just reading it quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now in the editor backspace, so that you are indented the same amount as the get method, click the post method in the shelf. That's what we did, right? So if we have to get a method at the same level, like the indentation has to be the same as get and post. So even if I have to add delete method, the indentation has to be same as get and post. I have to be at the same level as get and post, right?
Right.
Now you added the post methods, and look at the API console. You should see get and post methods for the flight resource. The moment I add something over here, it starts reflecting over here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then add a nested RAML resource in the editor backspace and then go to a new line. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you are still under the flights resource. And this is basically telling about adding the ID. I will not read everything, but you know how you added the ID over here, right? You also
Right.
added all the ID that you added. It was small letters. I added capital letters, but it doesn't make a difference as such. Okay.
Mhm.
And it will start reflecting on the right hand side. That is what it is telling. Now again, it is asking us to add on the 21st step. It is saying that add a get method under the flights ID get. Um, Acha, sorry. It is talking about under the flights get method. It is asking you to give a query parameter, right? So
Right.
that's what you did. Gave a query parameter over here. Okay.
Mhm.
And give it a key name destination, because I told you query parameter is nothing but a combination of key and value, right? So if it is a
Yeah.
combination of key and value, you will give the key and the name of this key is destination. Okay. Again, indent under the destination query parameter and look at the possible parameters. We did that already. We clicked over here. It is already indented and acha, nahi, sorry, not over here. It under destination, it is already indented and there are so many options available in the shelf. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are asking us to copy the required parameter. We took the required parameter and gave the value as false. Actually, initially the value that they are asking us to give is false. Okay.
Mhm.
Then again go to the new line of code. You should see be at the same indent level as required, and then click the enum parameter. Under the enum parameter, give SA for lakhs and CLE. That's what I gave. Okay, I didn't give lakhs, but that's fine.
Mhm.
It's okay, right? And then in the API console, click the get methods of the flight resource. Okay, now they are asking us to test it basically. So under the flights, they are asking us to go to the get method. Okay, and click the try it button. You should get a message that the request URL is invalid. A URL to call the try API needs to be added. So what they are trying to tell over here is, until now they haven't asked us to start the mocking service, right?
Right.
So if I have not started the if I'm at the get method, or if I, let me go back to the summary, and I go to the get method, and if I haven't started the mocking service, so what will happen is that I click on try it, and it will give me an error that the request URL is invalid, because the request URL is not just the resource or the path that we are giving, it has to have a URI before, right? And that's why once we click on the mocking service, and then if I try to test it, I mean, this error goes off the moment I turn on the mocking service.
Right.
Okay. So they're trying to because see, as such, the tutorial is trying to explain you what a mocking service does. I have already told you what a mocking service does, but as such, from the tutorial level, it is trying to explain you. Okay.
Right.
Now, when I go and click on next over here, this is talking about the mocking service, which is simulating the API, right?
Right.
So, um, simulating this, if you can it is mentioned, I'm reading from here, you can mock an API to test it before it is implemented. That's what I have told you. The implementation is not there, you are just mocking it, you are just mimicking the service. Okay, and it is useful in getting early feedback from developers. So in the design center, my friend, you take feedback from developers. In exchange, you take feedback from the business. I'll tell you the difference between design and exchange when we will talk more about the Anypoint platform, the module 2. Okay. But
Right.
after that, it is written, use the API console and mocking service to run live simulation. That's what you did, right? You use the API console, you use the mocking service, and you tested everything, right?
Right.
And it
Right.
will return. So what does this mocking service do? It returns sample API responses defined in the API definition. So right now, you saw when I added an example or sample as the customer name Monica, whatever I added, right?
Mhm.
So when I added that as a response, that that response started getting returned from API console. If I do not give any sample, a empty response will be sent back. That's what we saw, right?
Right. Yeah.
Following na any point which you are not
Yeah. Right.
following. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the API console, which we are talking about right now. You by now you know what is API console. What is API console? I'm asking.
That's the testing area.
Yeah, the testing area on the design center where we
Mhm.
can mock our APIs and give values and try it, right? So
Right.
that is within the Anypoint platform. It is available in two places. Okay, one,
Mhm.
it is available from the API designer, and hello,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm.
one, it is available from the API designer. Other, it
Mhm.
is available from the API portal in Exchange. So what is this API portal in Exchange? See, once you create your API, na, you are not going to keep it to yourself. You have to share it, right?
Right.
That's why you
Right.
will get the feedback. So the place where I can share my APIs or any other asset is this
Mhm.
Exchange. There is this button publish to Exchange. Okay. So right
Right.
now our API is not complete. I will not go and publish to Exchange. But what I'll show you over here is that within the Exchange, I had already published an old API. So
Mhm.
this is the API which I had published over here. So this API, the same, this is the flights API only. Okay. And here also I have this option of get method. I can go and give an ID and test it from here also. So basically the API console on the Anypoint platform is available in two places. Okay. One place is the design center, and other place is the portal in, so this is the API portal in Exchange, what is opened right now in front of your eyes. This is the API portal in Exchange. From here also you can click on send and test your service. So this is also API console, and what we saw on design center, that is also API console. Okay,
Okay.
fair
Right.
enough, following?
Yeah, yeah.
Now this is the API console gives you the ability to test the API without writing any code. That's what you did, right? You have already tested it. Did you write any code? No, right?
Okay. Yeah.
API console is giving you this option to test it without writing any code. Now,
Right.
the other thing that is mentioned is that at the top of the API console, there is a switch to enable the mocking service, which allows you to run the live simulation, return sample API responses. That's what we did,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Now, coming on to the next walkthrough, use mocking service to test and run the API. Turn on the mocking service, use the API console to make calls to a mocked API. So basically,
Mhm.
my friend, this walkthrough also we have already done. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You return to the API designer, locate the mocking service slider in the menu bar at the top of the API console. Okay. Click
Mhm.
the right side of the slider and turn it on. That's what we did, right? We turned on the
Right.
slider.
Right.
Look at the base URI added to the YAML definition in the editor. So,
Mhm.
the moment we turned down the slider for mocking service, base URI was added. Base URI पहले से नहीं था, right? Base URI newly got added the moment you turned on the slider, right?
Right.
ठीक है.
Right.
उसके बाद फिर हमने flights के get resource को test किया, wherein you were asked to add a query parameter also, right?
Mhm.
In the
Yeah.
API console, click the back to docs button. So what is this back to docs button? It's nothing but over here. If you see, if I go to the design center and I open this American flights, this was the one we were creating, right?
Are you sharing something? I can't see
Yeah,
anything.
I'm sharing my screen. Is it not visible?
No, actually.
Um,
Yeah, I
ha-
can see it now. Yeah.
hmm. So this is again the design center where when I click on the get method, okay,
Mhm.
and even if I click on get it, try it, there is this option to go back to the previous page. So this is a back to docs button. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
So I mean, it's just a button. They can change the name of the button in future also. Just that they are telling that in the API console, click the back to docs button, click the right button for the flight get method, then click the send button. You should get a 200 status code and an empty response. Why we are getting an empty response? Because we haven't given any sample over here, right?
Okay. Right.
And then select the show optional parameters you already did. In the destination drop down, select San Francisco, click send. You should get the same response. And this thing you already did. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, my friend, I have a hard stop. I told you